Oh yeah, we've got the next 6 days like this. Sunny, nice, spring feeling. I love it. Unfortunately, with my injury, I'm kind of limited to what I can do. I don't want to I don't want to overdo it. And with Jen not here, I've got to be really careful about what I'm doing right now. Now, the good news is I do have an appointment with the surgeon that did the surgery back in August. So that's coming up here in a few days. But until then, I still got a lot to do. So right now, I've got to get some pallets together, get them up in the front of the yard, because I've got a neighbor who's going to be bringing by some lumber for some of the projects that we're working on this spring. So I've got to have a place for him to put it. Now, normally I would go out there and I would go pick it up, but with my injury, he's been kind enough to take that task from me so that I don't have to overdo myself or injure myself more or whatnot. So right now we're just going to grab the tractor. We're going to go get a couple of pallets and go set them up. Well, we got our pallets all set up and ready. So all we got to do now is wait for our neighbor to bring our lumber. So the piggies eat out of that area and they eat out of this area yet. These two seem to still want to fight over it. It's unbelievable. Pigs are fed. We're gonna let them eat, do their thing. So earlier this morning, I was in my kitchen window, right there, having a sip of coffee, and I saw something very small and long come out from underneath the woodshed here, and then just kind of jump around all over. It eventually went all the way out here to this area, and I think it was one of those weasels. Now, I don't think they call them, well, it's a weasel, but they're really small, and I think there's another name for it. I'll look it up before I post this, and I'll put the name of it on the screen here. But yeah, he was fast, really fast, and just kind of jumping around all over the place. Unfortunately, the snow here is really, really hard because it was freezing last night. So I don't see, at first glance here, I don't see any of the tracks. But he was out here jumping around first thing this morning. The plan with Sue is that this summer we'll start leaving them outside during the days. And we do plan on getting a couple more cats. But, you know, when that happens, my hope is that the cats will keep the little critters, the mice, voles, you know, the little weasels away. But then again, I've also heard that, you know, weasels are pretty aggressive. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So today, I have a neighbor coming by to help out. And, you know, with my injury, I'm having a hard time doing things right now. And with Jen not here, kind of makes it a little difficult for me. So he'll be here in about an hour or so. And the plan today is all about firewood. I've got firewood that we still need to bring in from our wood lot. And I also have a bunch of apple wood. Oh, that's cool. Wow. Gotta see how thick that ice is. That's kind of cool. So with the neighbor coming, we are going to be getting some, the rest of the wood out of our wood lot over there. But more importantly, I want to get this split here. So this is a bunch of apple wood that we got from some folks in the summertime. But I want to get this stuff split and get it stacked up in the firewood shed here, so it has enough time to dry out for next season. Man, this has turned into an incredibly beautiful day. I mean, if the temps could be like this all year round, this would be perfect. It's like 60 degrees. There's not a cloud in sight. There's a nice wind. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Now, with these warmer temperatures, though, comes a lot of melting snow. And we have dubbed this as Lake Hanbleceya. It's a massive pond that forms every time we get heavy rain, or in this case with the snow melt. It's relatively large. I mean, it runs from all the way here, all the way back to the gate there. So it'll continue to get big until the frost gives out. Once the frost gives out, you can almost watch the water just get sucked into the ground. It's pretty amazing, actually. We've got a small project we're going to get done here. Something I should have done already, but with me not feeling too hot, and I am going to the doctor tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and empty the fuel tanks out on these. We're going to shut the fuel valves off and then run them until they are completely dry and out of fuel. So let's get to it. Now, while the snow machine is emptying the fuel, the reason we want to do this is a couple fold. Number one, in the old days, the old timers used to fill all of their machines up with fuel all the way to the top, primarily to reduce condensation. If there's no bare metal, then obviously there's no condensation. However, all of the new tanks are made with some sort of polymer, typically some sort of plastic. And so the idea of rust is just simply it's not an issue anymore since, well, the tanks are made out of plastic. The other thing is fuel does break down after, several months. And so we want to get this fuel out. Fuel is not very cheap. We can pull this fuel out and we can use it elsewhere. I can use this fuel on other equipment. This summer, I'll throw a treatment in this, and then we'll be able to use that rather than let it sitting in the snow machine all summer and just going bad. So the other reason that we're doing this is, as I said, gasoline does break down, and if left in the fuel lines or in the carburetors, it could create a kind of a gummy mess in there. So we're just going to, now that we've got the fuel tank emptied, I'll go ahead and put the cap on it, and then we'll get this thing started, and I will shut the fuel line off, the fuel valve off, and just run this thing dry. Okay, and there we go. She is dead, and she is almost ready for summer. The last thing I'm going to do is we're going to pull the negative off of the battery so that the battery doesn't drain over the summer. And then all I have left to do is we're going to cover it up. But we're going to wait on covering it for right now. Anyway, we're going to wait on covering it right now. But we are going to get it covered just to help protect it. And then we are also going to lift the rear end and get the track off of the ground. We don't want any dry rotting or anything like that. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that until all of this ice that's underneath here melts, because we've got a nice big layer of ice there. And so I want to make sure that all of that melts before I get this thing up, because there's actually ice in the back where the 2x6 would go. So all right, well, I'm going to wrap this one up, and then we're going to start on this guy. So we're letting our snow blower dry up of gas, and I was going to take the boys up to the Canadian border, but I had to put them inside so I could get this. Right there, got some wild turkey over by the border. Let's see how close we can get to them. Yeah, they spook easily. They just went behind these trees over here. So, I don't hear the snowblower running, so we're going to go ahead and get that thing shut down. That means that all of the fuel in it is out, which is what we want. We want a dry system for the summertime, because we don't want that fuel sitting in there breaking down and causing any problems with the rubber lines or anything like that, gumming up the carburetor. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get this thing shut down. And really all I gotta do, turn that on, put this to stop, and that's it. Easy peasy. Now I will cover this up once I get a tarp free, and then we'll kind of strap it up, and that'll be all set and ready for next winter. It's funny though, we didn't really use that snowblower all that much this year. We used a ton of it the first winter, because really that's all we had. But once we got the the plow for the ATV, we used that a lot. It was nice to open up the trails with the snowblower, but once we had some space to work, boy, that ATV just made quick work of it. Okay, well, that'll do it for this video. We really appreciate you folks sticking around and watching this thing. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you folks on the next video.